Sabrina Jones, who is with Celebrity Style Entertainment and Management in Los Angeles, and Rita Casman, who is Enchantment Pageants, Mrs. Arizona. She's also an influencer and an advocate for domestic violence, as I am as well. So I would like to introduce our audience to our guest. Rita, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, Leesa. Well, it all started here. I've always wanted to be an advocate, I guess, like a person that would really support causes since I'm a very little girl. I started by giving my toys whenever it was Christmas, and we would have something because I'm Guatemalan. So when I was living in Guatemala, we would take them to like Channel 7. I remember they would always interview me, and I was like, my father always knew I'd be an entertainer, and then at the end I became that after studying so many degrees that I don't think I'm gonna stop soon because I really like to study. And I ended up coming here to the States. I lived 5 years in LA. I became a professional actor. Did influencing things in the sense of motivating and inspiring. I don't very much like that word, but I do understand what it's called because you do influence people. In the positive side. And I was very into philanthropy, and still very into philanthropy because it goes hand in hand with what I do. So first it's starting to be about liking to act, and now it's about wanting to tell other stories through mine. So I think that I've used all of my experience in order to tell other stories, even though it's maybe my version, but it helps me whenever something is written and I can do it and just think about those times, right? So I think that more than any time ever, this is more important because it's just things that keep on happening because we don't talk about them. So that is the reason why we're here today.
That is true. Sabrina, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Sabrina J. I've been in the industry over 15 years. I am a branding publicist, producer, a product placement. What else do I do? Celebrity gift lounges. I've worked with Rogers and Cowan, So Train, did Clark production. I'm more or less the behind the scenes girl, the creativity, the brains, the brilliant behind the projects. And also, do public relations. So I get my clients, if they're at one level, I get them to the next level, the more of the brand exposure and things like that, where the consumers and the fans would know exactly about their brand and about that person themselves. That's all about Sabrina J.
Sabrina is also a producer on Power Divas in Charge. As you know, we're going full into on-set production where our set is being designed right now as we speak. So we hope to be in studio before the end of the month. We'll be in studio. So I'm really excited about that. Yay!
Yay.
So exciting.
And as a lot of our viewers know that I am in the entertainment industry. I'm a producer and more so an executive producer. The corporation owns a talent agency, a record label, an image consulting firm in LA, and a production company. We're a full service production company. So that's what I do. But I'm also a strong advocate for domestic violence. And Rita and I have had this in common. We have this sisterhood, how we want to really bring out domestic violence. Because one thing I learned I'm a survivor of 2 domestic violence situations. Thankfully, there's only 2. Rita has a much more of a horror story than I do. So we're talking about her story today.
Okay.
But the first act of violence against myself, I did not talk about it for 10 years. I really kept it inside. I was suffering from depression. I was suicidal. It was really, really traumatic. And the thing about domestic violence that a lot of people don't understand is that PTSD is very close in proximity to domestic violence. People think, like Rita and I were talking about earlier, people think veterans, which that's much more drastic in a sense of what they go through. But we can have that same effect as when there's guns involved, that kind of thing. We have the same PTSD, but PTSD will come up when you least expect it, and it comes up with a vengeance. So, Rita, you want to start off by talking about it a little bit, because that's what we want to do, is talk about it and start to heal from talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's there's another disorder that's very common in this type of situations, which is the dissociative identity disorder. This is a disorder that's not talked about as much because it's very complex, and it basically has to look with the fact that your mind is so powerful that you don't want to understand or accept that you're living that situation, that you stay, it's like you get out of your body or something like that. So the situation is happening, but you're just not present. You're not present, and whenever, and you may remember certain things or certain sensations, and then it's over and it's done. And when I started to because I came here 4 years ago, so I found out I had that with PTSD, and I was not very sure or very familiar with it, because I was like, that sounds like a horror story, like how does that really feel like? So in all these 4 years of therapy, I've little by little, we've been remembering certain things, with my therapists and my psychiatrists have helped me to remember certain things, obviously with a lot of caution, because they don't want to traumatize me again or make me live necessarily things, but just like take out of those pieces. And when I watched 13 Reasons Why the first time with the first season, and then I watched another movie, it's called Hereditary, which is a horror movie, very good, by the way. I started to understand that is exactly what I live. Yeah. It's just like this. This is the simplest way I know how to act, how to say it. Let's say that right now something bad is going to happen to me, and I have my eyes open, but it's like they go black, but my eyes are open. So I'm like this. I'm like still stiff, I can't move, and it happens, and then I just act like if nothing happened, and I just get up, and maybe I'm like on the same, position, and I just go. It's something, and you don't remember about it because they say that this is irreversible, but it's like the doctor said, there's really no need for you to have this anymore, because it's safe to be in your body. And this is the thing. A lot of people say with rape, well, she didn't say no. Well, if you're in the state of that you can't move like me, and that you're terrified, and that you go blank, you're not going to say anything. You're not going to say anything. But still, I'm pretty sure that those 3 times I did say no. And I'm going to go with the first one. The first one, I was a very little kid. I was 4 years old. And I didn't know what was happening, but I tried to escape to let him, stop touching me. It was this man that was the father of a friend of my family's, which is, it always happens like that, right? It's always somebody, yes, or the majority of times, somebody that's pretty near, right? Your family. So
always.
Right? Yeah. A lot of times, or sometimes it's somebody totally random that would say, well, I've never seen her before. Like, it's always like a strategy thing. And I remember that I don't know if he actually would just make me faces, or if he actually told me, if you say something, nobody's going to believe you, or I'll do something to your mother. I'm pretty sure he said something that he would do something to my mother. And I was scared of this person. He was like a monster. And I really didn't remember what had happened, but I was I went to the gynecologist the other day, and that gynecologist told me, and I think I was told this before, that my uterus and my vagina was more profound than usual. So when she said that, I started to remember, I started to remember things. I'm like, yes, there was penetration. And even if there weren't penetration, it's still going to be something very traumatic. So I've had all these problems all my life, especially now, that I can't have a normal orgasm. And it's bringing me problems, personal problems. I'm not going to say about anybody else, but for me, because I want to be happy. This is supposed to be nice. Why would it's supposed to be painful or hard or no? So that's one thing. That was I was 4 years old, and I'm pretty sure it happened several times after that, because I remember having different types of hair and I would see this person. So I'm pretty sure it happens more than.
Is that person still living? Is that person still living?
Rita, check your mic. We can't hear you. No. I don't know what's wrong. Do you want to go out and come back in? Can you hear us? Go out and come back in. There we go. Okay. So, Sabrina, we were talking about statistics a while ago. Did you pull up some statistics?
Well, what I did pull up, that average of nearly like 20 people per minute is physically abused by their partner.
Wow.
20 people per minute for women is physically abused by their partner in the United States, and that was 2020 statistics.
Wow,
which is sad.
Rita, can you hear us?
20
yes,
women.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Yeah,
okay.
Rita.
Yes. I paused.
Yes.
Sabrina was just saying that. What was it, Sabrina? 20 people.
20 women per minute.
Per minute
is physically abused by their partner per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
And I believe it's one in every 3 women that has been abused at least once in their lives.
Yeah, that's really sad statistics too.
Yes.
And Rita, when you were talking about the actual act of violence, because I was raped as well when my children were little. First of all, you cannot believe that it's happening. You're like in shock that you just cannot believe that this is happening to you, because it's usually not something that happens to you. It happens to other people. And so it's really hard to, because I don't even know if I said no. I mean, this was an old boyfriend. I don't even remember, because I went within for like those 10 years. I couldn't even talk about it. But I still have, it's not as bad as it used to be, because I did seek mental health. So it's not as bad as it was. But with PTSD, you just never know. You never know when you're going to wake up and it bother you. Just the smallest little thing trigger a memory.
I think that, that is a very good point that we're talking about this, because, well, obviously because of that happening to me, I had, like, I don't know if you call it children PTSD or something like that, but I would, have a lot of defense mechanisms. And my friends would tell me like, well, we're just trying to help you and you're starting to get like your paws out. So I wouldn't understand why it was. And then let's say that happened when I was 4, 5 years old, or between 3 and 5, I would say. Then I told my mother, and then, she told me to not say anything because my dad was going to kill this person. So I was like, okay, I won't say anything. She did offer me some counseling help, but obviously I thought I was fine because I had the dissociation. Oh, I already forgot about it, or I don't know what happened. Even my mom knows because she didn't even tell me how the act of sex was. Actually, a free friend of mine started to laugh at me. It's just like, that's not how you have babies. She knew that would really bother me, so she didn't tell me that. So all those years passed, and then several times that I had intercourse with people that did not rape me. I can tell you that maybe half of the people that I've been with, I haven't wanted to be with because I couldn't say no. Because I thought that maybe I was the one with the problem, because a lot of these men they were not bad men. Please don't take me wrong. Really. I just couldn't tell them. It's not like you're going to have sex. Oh, I just want to tell you I've been raped. No, you're not going to do that. You're not.
Right.
So
Right.
when I was 21, I would say, and this happened with this person, I was at a get together party, and somebody did put something on my drink, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
And then this guy took me. He was much older than me, by the way. He's probably 15 years older than me. He took me like where you have like the closet that has all the food, stored, the storage, I guess you call
Pantry.
it. The pantry.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I always forget that name, that word, the pantry.
It's okay.
And it was a huge pantry. So I was there, I was there, and he was there trying to take off my pants. I could say no, but I couldn't move. I'm like, why am I feeling so stupid that I can't do, because he was a freaking huge guy, but I'm still strong, I'm like, but why can't I move? And then this guy came in that was his friend and my friend too, for the matter. And these people, mostly the friend, the one that was my friend, his name, I'm going to say his name because I really don't care. I don't even know. I have to check what's his last name to actually report. His name was Mauricio. And his friend, they called him Archie, which, by the way, in Guatemala is something very common. To have like a name like that, they'll probably know who he is. I'm trying to look for him so I can actually. And with him, I'm not scared of saying his name because they really can't do anything to me. Right. And I saw Mauricio and I told him hey, get him off me, right? But then I remember that he did something like this and he closed the pantry again. And then the other guy took me to the room, and then I didn't dissociate because I was drunk and there was something on my drink. So probably that's why I did not dissociate, because I was already, under the influence. So when he took me to the room, somebody knocked. I'm pretty sure it was Mauricio. And then I started to remember he was going to rape me too. Because they're like, oh, you're being groomed, because you think that grooming is just for children. No. They also oh, but he wouldn't hurt me. He helps me. He invites me to eat, So, and then he's just violent one time. No, then that's probably not, So they kind of confuse you. They kind of confuse you and get information from you so they can get you into trouble and not them. And then after that, obviously the other guy probably said well, maybe she does want to do it, right? So I won't need to rape her, right? But it was still rape because I didn't want to do it. So he closed it. He put a lock, and the other guy didn't come in. And then I never saw them again. Mostly Archie, I think I saw him 2 times. He would look at me weird, but like I said, I was still not sure what that had happened. So I never not said hi or anything. And then the other guy, I was telling Leesa that once I was at the bank and that I was going to say hi, and he totally ignored me. So I was like, there's something weird about this. And then all these years passed again. I was with people that I didn't want to be with, because I'm telling you, I couldn't say no. Like, I was at school and they would, I was one of those girls that started to, develop faster than the other ones, and they would touch me, and I didn't want to be like rejected or anything. So I wouldn't say anything. I would be like, so people would probably say that I was, that was easy or a whore or whatever. But no, that's the thing. That's what I've been trying to understand now about human trafficking and stuff like that, because it's people that say, well, they just like it, girls that do porn, they just like it. Not necessarily all of them do. Because we're not created to have those types of how would I say,
mentality
of jobs, or for sure. I mean,
right.
I can't talk for everybody, but I'm pretty sure that a very big percentage doesn't want to do those things all the time,
Right,
and
right.
then all those
I have
and then
I have under the agency a couple of ex porn stars signed under the agency, because we're forming a show about how they turn their lives around to be productive. But I've heard many, many horror stories from them that, just like you said, people think, oh, well, they're porn stars. Oh, yeah, they want it, they like it, and that's not true. They are some of the most abused women that I've talked to, and
and that's why they do it, right? Because they're like, they think
That's why.
then that's what
Exactly.
you're good for. I used to think that, Sabrina, I used to think that maybe I was just good for that, and maybe I wasn't like, and still I thought,
oh, we lost her again. Oh my Lord.
We lost her. She was getting good. We lost her again.
I love her as a guest because she's so multi-talented. She is a philanthropist, an advocate, and like I said, she's an influencer. So she's a great guest to have on.
She
and
is
then,
amazing guest to have on.
And I'm all about fighting against domestic violence. So she's a very good guest. But we are going to have a couple of our other ladies on that have survived domestic violence too.
Yes.
And not just Power Divas in Charge, because the Power Divas in Charge is successful women and how they got there, and how they're going to help other women get past hurdles or roadblocks to be successful.
Right.
So we're going to mentor women, but every now and then I feel like we need more of a emotional confessional type of show where you can talk about problems. Hi, Rita.
Right.
Sorry, this thing kicked me off, so I have to use the phone.
Okay, good.
No. Yeah, you're right. We do need that emotional cleansing, because you never know what a woman is holding inside, and this is their outlook, their outbreak. They're venting where they can vent to other women and not hold it inside. They have somewhere to go, that someone is listening, because you never know what someone's story is.
Exactly.
Everybody has a story.
Have you ever noticed that, like when you have a death in the family, we hurt so bad and we just want to talk about it, but people avoid you because they don't know what to say to you.
What to do, yeah.
But we need to retrain people's way of thinking that, just talking about it heals you.
And my thing is, just because they cannot relate, they can still listen. You know what I'm saying? I have a client, for example, two of her kids has autism. She called me this morning about 7 o'clock and was just crying. She's like, Sabrina, I just need somebody to listen. I'm doing this by myself. I have 3 kids, 2 of them have autism, and one of them is nonverbal. Other one, he's hyper, ADD. So it's a lot. My family won't listen. I just need somebody to listen. And I was like, wow. So you never know when they need an outlet. They need someone just to listen, not judge them, just to listen, because you never know. When you listen to someone else, you could be blessing their soul and inspiring them. And she's like, I just feel like I just want to really commit suicide. So I was like, no, you have to save your soul. You have your kids. You're just going through a storm right now. You have to call me, vent, cry. I'm here to listen. Yeah.
And you know what's sad about domestic violence is when you do report it. For instance, the last domestic violence situation I was in, I was held at gunpoint all night long. When I went to the police the next morning, I had to fill out probably 10 pages of paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was getting remarried the next week. So this was my son's father that held me at gunpoint all night long. And I was getting remarried to my second husband at that time a week later. So I forgot to, not forgot, but I just wanted to put it behind me. I didn't want to spend 5 years of my life having to rehash this in court. You know, every time we went to court, talk about what happened. So I told my lawyer, who was the city lawyer, look, I'm getting remarried. I'm moving because my son's father lived next door to me. That's how he was able to break into my house and wait for me to come home. But the attorney said, well, it's not up to you. It's up to the state of Mississippi to go ahead and follow through. Well, I never got any more notice. And the next notice I got in the mail was that the case had been dropped due to the no true bill. I never said anything about dropping it. I just wanted to move on. And when he told me that I had no choice, I just figured it was going to follow through. Now, he was arrested. He did have to pay bail to get out of jail. But, you know, it just, I don't know.
It's just so
And
tiring.
that's why so many women, that's why so many women, you know, are murdered because you cry out for help and you cannot get that help. And when it's time to get the help, it's too late.
Yep.
If I have someone I want to be on the show, her name is Kimberly Gainsworth. That's what happened to her mom. So many years her father abused her mother from when they were kids till they were adults. So many years she would go to the police station, never helped her. Eventually, he murdered her.
Oh, gosh.
So when you hear her story, it's going to blow you guys away. It really is. But that's what I'm saying. You cry for help, you go to the police, you ask for help, and you don't get it. Eventually, the woman ends up getting killed.
That's true. Gina Tabaka, she's a really good friend of mine and Rita's. She made a comment on our Facebook page. Don't forget how a woman acts or reacts to see after abuse is different. And this is true. It's not unusual or common to be very reserved or very sexually active. This is true. I've noticed this from children.
Look at what happened to me.
Yep. She said, how you act can also change many times in your life. Gina, you are spot on about that. We're going to have Gina on the show too. Gina is a very strong advocate for teenage domestic violence. So we're going to have her on one of our shows soon too.
Okay.
Yeah, this really well, like I was saying, then that passed, you know, and then I mean, I guess you just get used to it, right? And yeah, I did maintain myself pretty active all those years. And then this person that was very close to my family that really helped us so much did this thing to me. Same thing this time, even though I maybe had a beer, I did go blank. And that's how I know that I was raped, because then I wouldn't have gone blank. And I said, no, I'm this such and such, and I'm not such and such, because I thought maybe because he's drunk, he thinks that I'm his girlfriend. And it wasn't. I'm like, no, he knows who I am. He knows who I am.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Like if different events and parties, men, they actually scout out different women to put that date rape drug inside of their drinks. That some of them, they just go there just for that, to rape women. I'm actually going to create a product, whereas when you drink that drink, it will detect that something's in your drink, and you're going to put it down immediately, so that way it will not hit your system. Some accident process of creating a product, something like that, Leesa and I. So this won't happen to other women. You know, you're entitled to go out and have fun and things like that, but you don't want to have to be careful. You want a glass of water or a 7-Up or something like that, and they can easily slip in there without you knowing. But if you have something that detects it prior to when you put your lips on that glass, that protects you in the next direction you'll be going at the project, at the event, or wherever you're at.
Exactly. And you know what the thing is I go back to the same thing. It's people that nobody would ever believe that it was them. And twice when I was a little girl, and that time my mother was present. She was downstairs or in the same premise. And does my mother believe me? No. Probably from the first person, but not the second. And my mother and I haven't been talking. I actually screamed at her the last time, told her, don't you understand that I was raped several times? And she hung up on me. She doesn't want to talk to me because she says that I shout at her. I'm sorry, Mom. But if I shouted, it's because you don't shut up. You don't let me talk. And now I'm not saying it's your fault. Please. If she doesn't, I just can't talk about those horrible things. I'm sorry. I can't. It's time. It is time for that to get out of my system and for me to be really happy and just forgive, but not forget in the sense of, then it's fine. No, these people, the people at least that they're alive, they have to pay. And the first person that did that to me did that to his grandchildren and his son, which is my mother's her friend's husband. He doesn't believe, so he's gonna know, like, really. And his name is Rolando Caballeros. Rolando, if you're hearing this, your father did those things to me and did that to probably all of your lineage. I would say all the kids that you had, and it is not correct. I'm sorry. He was a pediatrician. He was not a good person. Why do they do these things? I don't understand. That's why you have to, like, really, when you see these behaviors, you have to take your kids, to counseling or something, because people don't just get born and become rapists. This is impossible. Like, why would you, like Sabrina was saying, why would you say, this and this date, I'm going to take this and this person, I'm going to rape? Why can't they just try to see if maybe they want to be with them? Why is the rape? Why? This is the same thing with Mauricio and this other Archie person. I don't say their last name because I don't know their last name. I'm trying to look for them. I don't find them. I can't even go in Guatemala and say this is an anonymous thing because they don't want to help me, because that happened years ago. We can't do anything about that. It's not about money or anything. It's just hey, this and this person was accused of this and this thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to
confront you want to heal from this. You want to exactly.
I don't want this happening. You want to heal. So again.
To heal, you want to confront that person. Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't want.
Did they learn anything?
Yeah. I don't want these people to hurt another person. Because I know that
another person. You're right.
I mean, how much time would they be in prison, Leesa? 3 years? That's not gonna. Yeah. They can give me $10 million. That is not going to ever take this away from me. I'm going to always live with this. I'm gonna always have to go to counseling to avoid the PTSD from coming back. Because when you have PTSD, you start shouting. It's horrible. I felt like a homeless person. I felt horrible. I'm like, oh my God. That's why whenever I see somebody that's homeless, I just cry. Because I'm like, that could have been me. I could have been the one that
exactly,
didn't want help.
Yes. Yeah.
This is horrible.
And you know what? A lot of it's bad. A lot of celebrities have been through what you've been through. They've been raped and molested from their stepfathers, from their uncles. I can't say a certain female celebrity name. She went through that, and she's still dealing with counseling, and she's like 46 years old to this day. So they deal with the same things. It's not. It never goes away. And her uncle molested her, and her mother ignored her. She didn't tell her mother until she's like in high school, but her mom ignored her. It's like, okay, you're not listening to me. Okay, so it never goes away. I mean, you're not gonna wake up one day, oh, I forgot about. You don't forget. You can't.
No,
It's a
because
part of your life. It's a part of your life cycle.
this is like great. We were talking about grief. You that's a great point, you know, because this is grief. Grief is not just for somebody to kill you, is like or kill somebody that's, you know, that's well, actually this does kill you, by the way, a little bit, but then you have to survive, right? With my dad, same thing. We could never talk about my dad's murder, anything. I'm sorry to say this, but this also affected me. Why? Because he was the man in my house, the man that would never have done anything to me, right? Then I felt zero protection, like zero. And then I actually found out that I was codependent, that I had still continue to be codependent, this time on my husband. And I'm like, but I've never been codependent financially or like that from a man. But then like, then if I don't solve this, I'm going to be codependent for the rest of my life. And the codependency comes from this abuse. It doesn't even come because my dad was murdered. It comes from a very long time, because I need somebody to look for. I'm like, well, maybe because I'm a woman, I try to look for other my friends and tell them my problems, but then my husband told me like, no, you're going over another. You always need to be. There's something there going on. I don't know about psychology, but I'm pretty sure. And then I started to analyze that I was codependent, even on friends and stuff like that. And I don't want to be I want to be free from all of that. You know, God wouldn't want this to happen. But what if my husband one day dies? Am I going to die then too? No, I want to be independent.
And one thing that we want to do with Enchantment, the pageant, is, you know how when we were doing the pageant before, like each individual delegate had their own platform. What we really want to do, because we're restructuring the whole pageant system, is domestic violence is going to be our platform. It's going to be all of our platform, because in our society and in our own minds, we're thinking, well, how, I'm just one person. What difference am I going to make? I'm only one person. Well, in the pageant system, since we're signing new pageant delegates, it's not just going to be one person. It's going to be a group dedicated to putting the word out about domestic violence. And we're going to stand strong for domestic violence, for our rights, and our mental health.
Yeah. And actually, in one of our episodes, I was talking about, because I wasn't even ready. I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't say it because I wasn't ready yet. So, all this, the other times I was talking about mistreatments, you know, and you know, talking domestically, because obviously it's in a home, right? That's where it comes from, because I had no respect for myself, no self-esteem, no anything. And I was like, but why am I like this? You know, why did I want to commit suicide when I was 12 the first time? Why would I think I'm ugly and detestable? It's all because of this, you know, and we really, yeah, no. And it's like, I couldn't even like be in my skin, you know. I'd be like, nah, I hate this. I just hate it. You know, I thought that I needed to be blonde, or that I needed to be, you know, I remember that when I was little, I would say, I want to be black because black women, they express themselves, and I want to be able to talk. I couldn't talk. I was telling Leesa that I'm dealing with a thyroid problem right now, because I do remember that when I was little, like I was like grabbed from here, so I couldn't speak. Whenever I would sing, I would cry. I'm like, oh my God, this is so like unfair. But I'm happy that I'm happy that I can tell this to you without crying, without going to that deep place, so I can actually communicate.
Yeah, you're actually you're healing. It takes some years. It might take to you 45 or 35, however. It takes some years to heal. You can't heal over any PTSD overnight. It's a process. You can pray about it, you have God in your life, but still, it's a process of healing. Any grief PTSD is always a process, and people don't understand it if they haven't been through anything traumatic. They don't get the process. Oh, girl, you
Yeah,
be
and the
okay.
trauma
Oh, girl, stop crying.
and
Oh,
mhm.
girl, get over it. It's like, no, it's not nothing to get over. Until you step into
No.
their step in your shoes, you can't judge my character, what I've been through. So you either my
Yeah.
friend and support me, or walk away and let me be and let me heal through the eyes of God and other friends that appreciate me and that will listen. That's it.
And
That's
sometimes you have to
that's it.
walk away from friends and family.
Yeah.
You just
Oh
have to
yes, that's true.
walk away
That's
because they're not
true.
going to understand. They're never going to understand. Gina had another good point that most people don't realize that domestic violence is not only physical, it's sexual, emotional, mental, and even financial. And
Yeah.
that is true. And that's why
Psychological, right? Yeah.
psychological and
That's
that
true.
the financial part and the mental part came from me not wanting to do anything about it because I knew I would be tied up for at least 5 years in court with
Mhm.
that. And I just washed my hands of it. But one good thing was that I got married the next week and I was very happy for a little while.
Right, right.
But
Right.
at least, right in the beginning when it was the most important, what I was going through, I had the support of a new husband. So, who at that time loved me very much. And he understood and we talked about it a lot. And he kept a gun because he wanted me to feel safe. And,
Right.
just recently I purchased another gun um, because I'm not really sure why, but I felt the need that I wanted to purchase it. And it could be some deep rooted from way back when. But I've noticed that I'm really scared of it. I'm scared. I mean, I live on the swamp, so I live in a place where I can go out and practice shooting the gun, but I'm afraid of it. And I've never been afraid of guns. My father raised us to shoot, my brothers and I to shoot rifles and pistols and everything.
Yeah.
And
Me neither. Me neither. But the other day, because
Right.
we wanted to do this now that we have a home, but I did tell my husband, I feel that if you have a gun and one day I'm gonna be depressed, hopefully not, I'll go get it and I'll use it on me. I don't think we can have one. That's why I have an alarm system that is
Right.
fast. I just actually don't have to even like put any sound. I just prefer that. And with the grief thing, I was taking this little course because I like to do these Commune or Mind Valley courses, the free ones. And then sometimes I pay for some of them, but this one was a grief course that it says that there's different levels of grief and there's different people that will be in different levels of your grief. So I would always ask myself, why were these people with me when my dad died, but then they disappeared? So it says that people know how to do certain things in a certain time, and then they don't know what else to do and they go, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean that if
Mhm.
you don't get over, I don't think anybody gets over anything, to be honest, especially a murder. I really don't think so. But
yeah,
in the sense that maybe it affected me in this way because I was very attached to my father, it's going to affect my sister in another way. It's going to affect my mother or maybe his mother in another way. But it doesn't mean that we can't talk about it. I mean, it's been 22 years. And it's something that still affects me, even though I know he's in a better place and I dream about him and everything. But it really does affect me because I was told to shush, you know?
mhm.
Yeah. So we
Sabrina
need to
got
talk
kicked
about
off.
it. Now it's her turn.
Yeah. I'm on my desktop, so hopefully I won't get kicked off. But we need to wrap the show up. But I want to have
Sure.
you on the show again on our
Of
domestic
course.
violence series. But I just want to tell you, I think I admire you. I love you so much. You're so inspiring to so many women because you didn't have just a one-time experience with domestic violence. It was throughout your life. But look at you. You're this beautiful woman and you're coping the best way
Oh,
that you can.
Yeah,
under the
because
circumstances.
that's what we were talking about with a friend of mine yesterday. Is I think that the most important thing is to not be a victim anymore. I'm like, yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Because for many years I was a victim. You're always going to be a victim at the beginning because that's how it is.
Yeah.
But I could have been the survivor much before that. But it doesn't matter because everything happens in divine timing. So right now is my time to become that survivor, but I'm not mad anymore. Like I
Mhm.
used to be very mad. Why did this happen to me? And and the first videos that I would post, it was all PTSD-ish. But
Mhm.
you know what? Even though it looked really bad, I'm happy I did that because at least I did something.
Exactly.
At
You did
least I did
something.
something, and now I just erase them, and now I talk about this like an actual person. And some people may say, well, I don't believe her because she's not crying. Well, that's exactly what I don't want to do, because then if not, I can't communicate
Mhm.
with you. And all those things that happened to me, not just this, I lost a child when I was 23 because
Mhm.
I couldn't have the child because of all these things. Maybe I
Yeah.
would have done it if it wouldn't been that way. And the same thing, my first marriage, I had to end it because he couldn't do it. He couldn't cope with me. He's like, but why is she like that? Because he didn't understand me. Now I found somebody that does understand me,
Mhm.
but I'm really fighting, to have this relationship for as long as I can. And that's why I'm really trying to solve these situations as much as I can, so when I have children, even though they'll probably live ugly things too, at least I avoid the most I
I'm back.
can with me,
Sorry.
right? Oh, go ahead. Now it's your time to say goodbye, because I was saying goodbye.
Yeah.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
Well, we were wrapping up the show and you disappeared on us. But
Oh,
I was
my
telling
phone. I'm sorry.
Rita how much I admire her because not one thing happened to her. It was many, many things happened to her from being a baby. I mean, 4 years old is a baby to,
Yes.
adulthood. And one thing became almost a domino effect, almost. But look, she's strong, beautiful. She's fighting back. She's speaking up. And
Yes.
I admire you very much.
Oh, thank you so
I
much. I
love your
admire you
I,
too.
I love your speaking, your confidence, and
Mhm.
you're healing because you're speaking and you're not crying. There's no tears. So
Yes,
that's a good
I'm
sign
not.
of your healing.
I don't.
And you're
Yeah, I don't want
confident,
no
which
more.
we need, yeah, which we
Yeah,
need
and
more women of your charisma, your persona, and your demeanor and your confidence. We need that, especially within the pageant atmosphere. There's so
Thank
many
you so
women in
much.
the pageant that are dealing with abuse, and they're scared to bring it to the forefront because they're a public image to other young girls. So they're scared to talk about what they're really going through because they think people will judge them. Judge judge me because this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm a pageant woman.
I
So
had
I think
to work a
your
lot with
voice is
that,
very important.
Sabrina. I had
Yeah.
to work a lot with that, with because I also take like alternative therapy, which is more like spiritual. I also had to
Mhm.
deal with that fear of being judged, and understand that I will be judged, but
Right.
who cares?
yeah,
Who
Because
cares?
if not, I'm not going to talk for anybody. That's why I really like Lady Gaga, because she did this song. That's a new song from last year, from her album Chromatica, that's called
Uh,
911. And I totally am so identified with that song, because she wrote that song about an antipsychotic that she takes, and I take
mhm.
one too. It's not that exact same brand, but it's the same thing. So it's hard to have to say, you know what? Yeah, I have to take medication every night. You
but
know.
I
But
think
you'll be
with women
surprised. Oh, go
speak,
ahead.
yeah, that's true. I think with women speaking up, because I had someone tell me one time, if someone of your caliber can talk about what happened to you, that's huge. Because a lot of a lot of women don't want to talk about it. They can't talk about it.
That's the Me Too movement that I really get
Right.
so mad when anybody starts talking bad about it or talks bad about Wonder Woman 84. I get really because first of all, I am Wonder Woman 84 because I was born in 1984. And
Right.
when I watched that movie, I was like, that is me. Because that happened to me all the time in LA. Whenever I would come late and using the train and stuff like that, and then I would get a lot of how do you say this in English? It's not assault, but it's like that they were trying
Harass.
I would get
Harass.
a lot of harassment, and when I saw that, I was like, that happens to us. A lot of us all the time. And yes, now that I live in Phoenix, I feel better, but I can't be scared and be like, then I'm not gonna go out by myself because I'm gonna get harassed. I can't do that. I need to live.
Yeah.
No, you definitely can't live in fear.
We're going to have you on again on our domestic violence show for sure. But, between you and I, we've talked about other shows we're going to do as well. So I want to thank you so much. Thank you, Sabrina, so much for taking the time out of your busy day. Sabrina's amazing.
You're amazing, Sabrina.
She works really hard, and so I really appreciate your time today, Sabrina.
Thank you. Rita, you are the best. You speak well, and I like the direction you're going in, and you're healing. So you definitely are a voice. We need to push out there more because you've been through it. Definitely a voice, and your energy is amazing. So definitely, young girls and women need to know what you've been through, and that you can help them get their process started as healing, because there's healing in life, So definitely have to remember that.
Thank you so much.
You're doing very well. You're
and
on the
I
right
have
path.
to plug a project of mine and Sabrina's. We own a nonprofit called Share the Love Foundation for Suicide Awareness. That you can't hear me now?
Now we can. Go ahead.
We can't hear you. Well, we have our nonprofit, which is Share the Love Foundation. It is for suicide awareness, and we're working on the site. We're adding links so that you can go, and if you need help, you can go to our site, and there are links that you can go to. There are people you can reach out to. Mental health is a very serious issue, and suicide is a very serious issue. Did you have something to say about that, Sabrina?
Suicide awareness, and like you said, mental health is a serious issue, and some people don't have an outlet. So with Share the Love Foundation, it's an outlet where you can come to us in secrecy, and we will talk to you and also refer you to different therapists. If you don't feel comfortable with a therapist, we refer you to a coach, a suicide coach, a mental health coach, because some people don't like the terminology therapist. They would rather talk to a coach. So we will refer you to that, and we're going to have the launch, and we're here to help you heal. There is a way out. Trust and believe. I've had mental health, still going through mental health issues because of grieving I've been through. That's why I compliment Rita so much, because to talk about a situation and not cry is hard.
It is.
And not compliment you and I congratulate you, because it's hard.
I know, it's very hard for me too.
Yeah.
When you get to that point, it's a blessing. It really is. So definitely check out the website, Share the Love, inc.com.
That's right. You've got to get to that point that you want to talk about it. And suicide, if you feel like, if anybody feels like they just don't want to go on anymore, at least just jump on the website, because it's a beautiful site. It's uplifting. And like I said, there are links to go to. Yeah. You can get immediate help.
and there's other places. For example, I've called NAMI and the crisis line and even the suicide line, and I've been able to talk to people. Always, I do tend, if I'm in a psychotic, let's say, states that it happened once, in the sense that I can't put my stuff in order, just know that these people are volunteers, so they're not actually psychiatrists. So just try to calm down for a bit. Maybe if you have a medication, take it, and then at the in the bit, call, and just don't be alone. And if really there's no other way out, call 911. I mean, it's your life, but there are ways, and I've gotten, thank God, even if you think you're alone, you're not. Like, I don't know anybody here, but I've gotten a lot of support. So yeah, let's do that, because this is hard to do, but this is, I sound like this because I've been going through therapy, so that took down my PTSD, and I don't get any more like that elevation when I was talking about the situations, because I've gone through that thing. Same thing with my dad. I would get mad that he was murdered, for sure. I don't get mad at that anymore. I can talk about it. Same thing with my child. I would get mad at myself, like, oh my God, the first spoken word you did was about abortion, and look at you, what you did. But it doesn't matter. I did this decision out of love, and I don't support it, like what's happening right now, and all these bills. Oh my God, I'm so mad. But really do the best decision you can, and really try to protect yourself and be and be responsible, because I was irresponsible because of all of these things that have happened, and take care of your relations and not be codependent, and understand that if you're codependent, you can be free. I'm telling you, that's why I really go with A21. It's a human trafficking organization that helps, fight against it. And I actually bought one of their pendants. It says, it's a key, an old key, and it says freedom, because we can unlock freedom. And even though I'm not I don't know what human trafficking is on me, I have something that's similar. So I get together with these women and these kids mostly, and even men, that have taken to be work for the workforce in illegal ways, to help them. And a lot of them from my country, by the way, from Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we have to continue that, and know that what we're doing is big, and whatever God allows us to impact. So for sure. Thank you so much.
We also are having a guest that was a victim of human trafficking. She's made a movie about it, and we're helping her develop it into a TV series.
Perfect.
So, she allowed me to see the finished film. It was the most emotional watching of a show I've ever done. Wow. And I feel like coming to work today, I teared up thinking about things in that movie. And I couldn't imagine what her mother was going through as a mother. And so anyway, we will talk about that another day. We're going to have you
definitely. And just to end this, I understand, for example, with 13 Reasons Why, it says, that it's going to be hard if you can't watch it. That's fine if you've been through a traumatic experience or something like that. But for people that say, oh, I just don't like seeing, ugly things, I'm sorry, but that is exactly why these things keep on happening.
We live in an ugly world.
Yeah, and if not, fast forward it and then watch another, but do really get the information from these things, because this is not just entertaining, it's education. So let's do that to help other people tell their stories.
I definitely want everybody I want to chime in and make sure people follow our page, Share the Love INC on Instagram. Our website is sharethelovefoundation.org. Is it, Leesa?
That site.
That site. ShareTheLoveFoundation.site. So go to the site. If you need help, reach out to us. We'll connect you to one of our coaches, our suicide awareness coaches, our mental health coaches. Just reach out. We'll reach back and bless you and heal you and help you. Okay.
That's true. Okay, well, I want to thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank you
you.
everybody for watching our Power Divas in Charge show today. And stay tuned, and we'll be back. I will also post the links on our social media for this particular show and Share the Love Foundation as well. Thank you,
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye,
Wow.
ladies.
Bye-bye.
Mwah. Bye.